Hi, this is Sarah and Jeanette from the Atlanta Divorce Law Group, and today we are talking about a topic that we call happy law, which is adoptions. It is probably one of the happiest and funnest things we get to do is help parents fulfill their lifelong dream of adopting a little baby or a young child. And Jeanette, our managing attorney, has had the great joy of doing that herself. She is the adoptive parent of her beautiful baby boy, Logan. It's not a baby anymore,
I know.
but he'll always be a baby to you. So we wanted to educate you guys a little bit about agency adoptions and what that process looks like, and get whatever tidbits we can from Jeanette's personal experience with it as well. So Jeanette, first of all, what is an agency adoption, and why are we, honing down specifically on agency adoption?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different types of adoption, but the vast majority of people adopt through an agency, which is why we're talking about that specifically in this video. And agencies are very good, at least the good agencies,
Right.
are good about working with the adoptive parents throughout the process. So really by the time you get to finalization, you're just hiring an attorney to get all of the formal documents filed and get in front of the judge to get that formalized and finalized.
Is that how you adopted Logan?
Yeah, so we adopted Logan from an agency in Nevada. So, not everyone who does an agency adoption necessarily works with a local agency. And we used an adoption consultant who had us consider agencies throughout the country for different reasons. Some is other states have more favorable laws towards adoptive parents, although that changed a little bit in Georgia. But we chose to adopt through an agency that wasn't in Georgia, which creates some extra steps as far as being cleared to bring the baby from, for us, it was from Nevada into Georgia, but the agencies walk through that with you step by step. So then you get to the finalization process, and by that point, it's the home stretch,
Right.
and the agency's done everything and created all the paperwork that you need to get things finalized.
And why would a family that using an agency also need an attorney in the process?
Yeah, so they definitely need an attorney for the finalization component because there are a number of forms that have to be filled out and filed with the petition, and then you do have to go to court and you have to go in front of a judge and make out your case and let the judge know that you have met all of the legal requirements of the state of Georgia to finalize the adoption. And then you have to present the final adoption order, and you want to make sure that you have an attorney who makes sure all the necessary language is in there, including adoptions are sealed. So you cannot later just go and look up your adoption case and get extra copies of your adoption order. So the adoption order has to specifically allow a certain number of certified copies. And these are all things that an adoption attorney knows and is able to make sure is done correctly.
And what were you looking for when you selected an agency, and what would you advise for clients to look for when they're selecting their adoption agency?
Yeah, so for us, I'm very impatient when I know, this is not a surprise. When I make up my mind that I want something to happen, I want it to happen now.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons why we went with using an adoption consultant who helped us network with agencies all over the country. So we had a baby in 8 weeks, like 8 weeks from the time we signed up with the consultant until he was born and placed with us. We were rushing to finish our home study after we matched. So that's why we went with considering agencies all over the country.
So the consultant was more like a broker for the agencies.
Well, you don't want to call it a broker.
Okay.
Not a broker. but they help educate you on the different agencies out there. What are the good ones? What are the states that have really favorable adoption laws? Because some states, you could end up parenting a baby for a while and there's a long period of time for a birth mom to change her mind. So the adoption consultant just really helps you get plugged in with the really good adoption professionals so you can decide a number that you want to work with to kind of just cast a wider net instead of limiting yourself to one agency. But the drawback of that is it's very expensive. And for me, just because I'm very, want things now, I was willing to just scrape together the budget for that. But For a lot of people, that's not going to be the best decision for them, and it might be best to work with a local agency. And there are some really wonderful local agencies that I recommend to a lot of people. Wait time's typically a little bit longer, but there's a really big misconception that, you know, most people wait years and years to adopt a baby, and that's not. If you work with the right agency, that's not the typical situation. Right.
That's more the situation when you want a specific international adoption, correct?
Or you're just very specific about, you know, we want a Caucasian female,
right,
and
at this specific age.
Yeah, we're not open to a birth mother who smoked, and
right,
and we want a birth mother who's college educated. You know, just the more specific you are, the longer it's going to take,
right,
to get that match.
And you know, just from some of the previous clients we've had and the experience we've had, people have this false tendency to think that agency adoption is a more expensive way to go. And on its surface, it probably is than doing a pure private adoption. But the heartache and the back and forth that can go into dealing, you know, directly with a birth mother can actually end up being pretty expensive, and cause a lot of heartache as well.
And there's been a number of private adoption situations where, you know, we've seen the family invest in working with this birth mother, and then she has changed her mind.
Right.
And with an agency, you get the benefit of working with a social worker and knowing that the birth mom is also received, or I should say the potential birth mom, because really she's not a birth mom until she places.
Right.
But she plans on placing and being a birth mom, and she's getting the support that she needs from the agency to make sure she's prepared for this and has really thought through this, and it's the decision she wants to make.
And she's cared for during the pregnancy, which is a big concern as well.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Jeanette, and thanks for sharing your personal story as well. Thank you guys for watching.